So welcome everyone to our Monday morning sunrise class. So we're actually going to start standing. So if you want to come up onto your feet and spend a bit of time just spreading the toes, plant the feet down, draw up through the legs, connect in through the belly a little and lengthen the tailbone. And you might roll the shoulders a few times if that just feels a good place to start, just kind of waking up the shoulders. And then for a moment, just allow the hands to rest beside the body, palms facing forward. Maybe the gaze softens or the eyes close, depending on how that feels. If it doesn't feel right, just closing the eyes, just take the gaze like to the tip of the nose. That can help just to begin to draw the awareness inwards, feeling yourself settling on the earth. And as you inhale, there's a little bit of a lift up through the crown of the head, lengthening up through the spine. And as you exhale, a softening down. So really soften down into the shoulders, into the feet, connecting back down into the earth. And you might do that a couple of times, inhaling long, and exhaling to ground and become present here. So we're just starting standing if you're joining us there. And just take a bit of time just to settle here, even though there might be like a little bit of a sway backwards, forwards, side to side. Just letting yourself be here for a moment and seeing what's going on. How do you feel this morning? And as you do that little check-in, can you just be the witness of that checking? Try not to get involved in what is there. Try to just see it, just the way you would see the breath coming and going. Oh yeah, there's a bit of tightness there in the shoulders, or a bit of a niggle in the knee, or maybe there's tiredness, maybe there's a bit of worry about what's ahead for the week. Maybe there's just a nice freedom, a calmness, a peacefulness. So whatever it is, good or bad, just allowing it to be. Allowing your breath to settle, allow yourself to be with the breath, just watching it in, watching it out. So this week we're beginning to turn our attention to love and to connection. And that will physically involve us opening up through the sides of the body into the upper chest area. And what I've called it this week is just planting seeds of love. And in particular, love for ourselves, love for who we are as we are. And then we'll see if we can begin to extend that out into the rest of the world. So take another long, deep breath in. And exhaling, maybe sighing out through the mouth, opening the eyes if the eyes are closed. And we'll just begin to wiggle the arms side to side. So creating that kind of heavy arms, heavy shoulders. Make sure you have space. And just that releasing through the arms and through the shoulders. And you can make it kind of as big as you want it to be, as small. And really this is kind of coming from the shoulders and the upper chest area rather than the hips, if you can help it. They probably will sway a little bit, but if you can, keep them a little bit connected and a little bit level. And you're pressing down through the feet as well, so feel connected into the earth. If you remember, last week was very much about that connection and that grounding into the earth. Now we can begin to take some of that up into the chest area, some of that energy and some of that release perhaps. So often we can close off from the world and particularly create boundaries around our heart because of pain, because of suffering. But you know, through our yoga practice, we can sometimes feel that those barriers, those walls begin to get a little bit soft perhaps, and we can just allow some of that love and and compassion to begin to shine through. So when you're ready, just slow down, just gradually allow the arms to come to settle again beside the body. And just pausing there again, palms facing forward, just see how that feels in the arms, in the shoulders. And then we'll move through some sun salutations, and in between we'll stretch through the sides of the body. So as you inhale, reach the arms up to the top, interlace the fingers, press the palms away. As you exhale, draw the shoulders down, draw the belly in, take an inhale. And as you exhale, fold over to the right side. So again, this is happening from the upper body rather than the hips. And then as you inhale, come back to the center. And as you exhale, go over to the other side. Stretching through the side, breathe into like the armpits, the side ribs. Inhale back to the center, and as you exhale, release the hands and fold forward. So bend into the knees a little, then release all the way down. Take an inhale for your half lift, so maybe hands on ankles or shins. And as you exhale, left leg steps back, then the right leg, so you're into your plank, but you know you can bring the knees down if you need to at that point. Make sure it's a strong straight line if you are in your plank. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, allow some of the weight to come forward as you bring the knees down and bring the chin and the chest down. So hands are under the shoulders. Press into the tops of the feet. Take an inhale for a little cobra. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. And then as you exhale, travel back through your child's pose and into your down dog. In your down dog, make sure you've got hip distance between the feet, and you might just pedal out through the legs. But have a check-in with the hands as well. So you're spreading the weight across the hands. There might be a little bend into the elbows if you have a tendency to lock the elbows out. And just easing off any tension in the back of the body. And then pause and take an inhale and lift the pelvis. And as you exhale, soften down into that. So release the head between the arms. Release the heels towards the mat. And then as you inhale, gaze forward, step left leg, then right leg. Create your half lift, so gazing forward. And then exhale, fold in over the legs. Press through the feet, bend into the knees a little as you inhale, come all the way back up. Interlace the hands as you exhale. This time have the index finger pointing up and the thumbs crossing. So take an inhale. And then as you exhale, fold over to the right. So opening up through the armpit, through the side of the ribs. Inhale back to the center. You can have a little bend into the elbows if you need to. Exhaling over to the other side. Inhale to the center. And again, exhale, folding forward. Little bend into the knees to keep the spine nice and long as you come all the way back down. Inhale for your half lift. Plant the hands down, right leg steps back, then the left leg. Into your plank, or as ever, bringing the knees down straight away. So if you ever feel there's pain in shoulders or wrists or into the lower back, just always bring the knees down. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, some of the weight comes forward as you bring the knees and the chest down. Inhale for your cobra, so hands are under the shoulders, drawing up. Maybe your cobras start to get a little bit bigger each time you move into that. And then exhale, travel back. Back to your down dog. Pause for a few breaths. You can always walk out through the legs again if that feels good. You've just got a few breaths there, just easing out the back of the body. And I always say this for those that come to the early morning class, but you can maybe feel a little bit tighter in the morning than you would in an evening class. So do take your time. No rush. And then lifting the pelvis as you inhale, so you're creating that length through the back of the body. Long exhale as you release the head between the arms. Pour the weight into the legs. And then gaze forward, take an inhale, right leg steps, then the left leg. Create your half lift. Exhale, fold in over the legs. This time hook the thumbs. Thumbs cross, fingertips spread. And then inhale to come all the way up to the top. And as you exhale, you can fold over towards that right side. Again, pressing down through the feet. Inhale back up to the center. And exhale over to the left. Inhale to the center. And then as you exhale, again, fold all the way back through. Create your half lift, gaze forward. And as you exhale, left leg steps back, then the right leg, plank or tabletop. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, weight comes forward, knees, chest comes down. This time, bring the hands beside the body and press the tops of the feet into the mat. So the thumbs are facing down, the palms are facing in. And as you inhale, lift the head and chest. And as you exhale, soften down, but don't come all the way down. See if you can do that a couple of times with your breath. So you're inhaling to lift, press the tops of the feet into the mat as best you can. Exhale to soften it. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Push back through your child's pose into your down dog. When you get to your down dog, take an inhale, raise the right leg. Press through the heel. Keep the toes pointing towards the midline of the body. So you're keeping that right hip connected down towards the earth. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring that right foot forwards. You can either drop the knee or you can keep it lifted for a high lunge, whichever feels better today. How much energy do you have today? Take an inhale to come up. If the knee is lifted, bend into the knee a little, connect in through the belly, lengthen the tailbone, and then you can start to press back through that heel as you keep the pelvis neutral. Take an inhale, reaching up through the hands. Exhale, soften down through the shoulders. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up to the top. So again, it's like a little bit of a lengthening. And then as you exhale, begin to fold over to the left side. And we just pause there for a few breaths. And can you kind of feel that you could breathe into the side ribs on the right? Into almost like you're breathing into the armpit. Can you sink down into that right knee a little bit more, particularly if the left knee is lifted? And then take an inhale, come back to the center. And as you exhale, fold all the way through. We can step back to down dog. If you do want a vinyasa at that point, you're very welcome to take it. Otherwise, you can just step to down dog, spread out the hands, lift the pelvis. And then when you're ready, take an inhale, left leg lifts. Keep pressing through the heel and just be aware of that, the toes still pointing to the earth, so they don't go out to the side. So don't worry too much how high the leg lifts. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, bring the foot forward. So you're getting ready there for your high lunge or your low lunge. On that side, lifting the arms up, settling down into that. Take an inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, soften in. Interlace the fingers, inhale, press the palms to the sky. And then as you exhale, fold over to the right side. Breathing for a few moments into that side rib area. Into the armpit. Into the upper chest. And then take an inhale, come back to the center. And then as you exhale, fold all the way through. We'll step forward with the right leg. Find your half lift. Exhale, fold in. Press through the feet. Take an inhale to come all the way up to stand. And this time bring the hands into prayer at the heart center. Take a long breath in. And a long breath out. I'm just considering here, how do you want your day to be? How do you want your week to be? I find it so powerful to practice in the morning, particularly at the beginning of the week, because it just sets our intention, it sets our focus for how we want things to be, and we can keep coming back to that throughout our day, reminding ourselves. So calling that in. If it's words, repeat it to yourself. It's a feeling, maybe, just have that awareness of that feeling. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into chair. So you've either got feet together or feet hip distance. So as you inhale, bend into the knees, sweep the hands up to the top. Weight is into the heels. And as you exhale, fold forward all the way back down. Inhale to your half lift. And as you exhale, right leg steps back, then the left leg. Back to your plank or you're in your tabletop. Take an inhale there. Keep the belly drawing in, little bit of weight comes forward. Bring the knees down, bring the chin and the chest down. Bring the belly down and then bring the hands beside the body. And this time we'll lift the head and chest and the legs and the arms. So as you inhale, lifting up basically everything. You're kind of almost pivoting on the pelvis, on the belly. Exhale, soften in. Have the palms facing in towards the body. Maybe the feet drawing towards one another. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. One more. Inhale. And exhale. And then the hands come back under the shoulders. Take an inhale. Go back to your child's pose, tabletop, and down dog. From your down dog, take an inhale. Right leg lifts. And this time, open up through the hip. So bend the knee. Make sure though that you've still got equal weight between the hands. So you might need to kind of drop weight into the right hand, the right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in. Could you lift that right knee a little bit higher? And then as you exhale, the foot comes forward. This time we'll plant down through the left foot. Bend into the right leg. Inhale for your warrior one. And exhale, soften into that. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, open out to warrior two. You might feel you want to go wider through the legs. Bending into that right leg, open up through the pelvis, draw belly in, sink down into that. Take an inhale, reach through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, reach that right hand up to the top. So again, creating that kind of openness through the right side of the ribs. Even just drawing your attention there, breathing into that area can help the muscles to release around the rib cage, around the heart space. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, reach the hand forward, and then we're going to bring the forearm onto the knee for our side angle. So then reach that left hand up, draw back through the left shoulder, and then as you exhale, begin to bring the hand over the head. And now breathing into the left side, into that area around the rib cage, around the heart. And you can either stay here, this might feel like plenty, or you could drop that right hand down on the inside of that right leg. But if this shoulder collapses, the left shoulder, then come back onto the leg. That might be a better place to be today. And just really have that awareness into the side ribs. And really feeling that we can show ourselves the same kind of unconditional love that we would for friends and family. Kind of leading on from what we were talking about last week. And how important it is to be for ourselves, to be on our own side, and kind of sense into how that would feel in your body if you were able to really allow that love and kindness and compassion to filter through into the rest of your body, into the rest of your life. And then when you're ready, take an inhale to come all the way back up to the top. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down. Either side of the foot, you can step back, move through a vinyasa, or just simply go to your down dog. Or even a child's pose if you need that. Always got that option of leaving out vinyasas if you need to. Lovely. So then from your down dog, take an inhale, left leg lifts. And then this time bending the knee, opening up through the hip. Really allow that right heel to draw down towards the earth as well, though. So that leg is working. And check if the weight needs to spread back through the left hand, down through the left shoulder as that side lifts. Take an inhale. Can you lift the left knee a little bit higher? And then as you exhale, bringing the foot forward. Plant the right foot down. Inhale to your warrior one. And exhale to soften in. Take an inhale. And exhale, open it out to warrior two. I always want to go a little bit wider when I go to warrior two. So if that's the case, make that a little bit wider. Belly draws in, tailbone lengthening. And make sure that the left knee is over the ankle at the front. So you don't want to kind of allow that into the midline. Draw it and open it up, even if it means that this right hip kind of comes forward a little. Palms facing down, feeling strong through the legs, through the arms. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, reach the left hand up. Allow that right hand to just lightly rest. It's kind of barely resting on that right leg. Still bending into that left knee. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale forward into your side angle, reach that right hand up. Maybe bend down into that left leg a little bit more. Inhale. You can either stay there with the right hand or begin to bring it over the head. And really feel, you sense that the breath is moving into the side. Nice deep breaths. And you can either stay there or you could drop the left hand on the inside of that leg. But if it really sends you off and that right shoulder drops, just come back and make it a little bit more, a little bit softer, and you're able to perhaps be a little bit more aware of what's happening in the body rather than trying to force the body into any particular way or place. So you may have heard the Dalai Lama say his religion is love, his religion is kindness. And it really is that kind of ultimate Buddhist practice, is to practice love, loving kindness. And they always start with themselves. So it always has to come from within. You know, they say if we can't love ourselves, then we can't love anybody else. So even with all of our flaws and imperfections, can we offer ourselves the same kind of love that we do for those around us, that we for the ones we care for the most? So the next breath in, come all the way back up to your warrior two, and then exhale over the top, stepping back, your vinyasa, or just resting for a few breaths. Well done. Lovely. So then from your down dog, we're going to step the feet in a little. So maybe like half a foot in your down dog. So just shortening your down dog basically. We're going to see if this works. So we're going to plant that left hand into the mat. Lift the right hand. And can you take it to the left ankle? Maybe. And then the idea is that you start to look underneath the left armpit. Like a twister pose. Think of playing twister. You're looking under the left and opening up a little bit more through that left side. Smile. Take an inhale Exhale, release the right hand. Inhale, draw belly in. See if you can lift the left hand to the right ankle and then begin to almost like take the head and the gaze underneath the right armpit, the right shoulder. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, release the left hand. Gazing forward, take an inhale to step or maybe hop the feet to the top of the mat. Find your half lift. Exhale, fold in. Back to your chair, bending into the knees. Inhale, reach the hands up. Pausing here for a couple of breaths. So really allow the weight to come back into the heels, bend into the knees, keeping the knees over the ankles, particularly if the feet are apart. So really connecting through the legs. Reach up through the fingertips. And then another inhale, reach the hands all the way up to the top, straighten through the legs. And then exhale to bring the hands into the heart space. Take an inhale briefly back to your chair, so sink back into that nicely, deeply down. And then exhale, fold over the legs again. Take an inhale for your half lift. And exhale, we'll step back with the left leg. Plant the foot down, bend into the right leg. Inhale to your warrior one. And then this time, exhale, bring the hands behind. So interlace, maybe just interlace the hands the way it feels a little bit strange if you've done a few of those already. Draw the shoulder blades together, bending into that right leg. Hug the right hip, the right glute into the midline of the body. So you're just staying connected there. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, fold over the right leg. And you might keep the gaze forward so that the spine stays long. You might start to reach the hands over the back, depending on how that feels, into shoulders and wrists. And then inhale to reach the hands all the way back up. And exhale, bring the hands into prayer at the heart center. Take a long breath in. And beginning to twist over to the right side. In fact, you might want to come onto the toes of the left foot, so you're into more of a high lunge, and then bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee for your twist. That feels a little bit too much. You could just bring the left hand and reach the right hand back. That's a really lovely twist as well. So you've really got the thigh pressing into the hand or the elbow, and the elbow pressing in. So do make sure that that thigh works as well as the hand, as well as the arm. And you're beginning to gaze towards the right shoulder, the right elbow, twisting into the belly. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, release. Hands down. As ever, you've got your option of vinyasa, or just pause for a few breaths. And it can be worth just considering if there are areas of our life that we could offer ourselves more kindness, more love. Maybe it's something physical, allowing ourselves to pause when we're tired. Or maybe it's something more in the mind, as we were talking about last week, that inner voice, that inner critic. Just being a bit easier on ourselves. Maybe it's something else. So how could you offer yourself a bit more love, a bit more kindness? So from your down dog, when you're ready, you can step that left leg forward. Plant the right foot down. Inhale to your warrior one. And exhale the hands behind. Inhale, draw shoulder blades together. Just be aware of that left hip. Can you hug it in a little so it really stays in line with the left knee? Inhale, and then as you exhale, begin to fold forward. So you might keep the gaze forward rather than kind of collapsing down into that. The hands might move away from the back, depending on how that feels, but it's nice, hopefully, a nice squeeze into the shoulders. Breathing there. And then pressing through the feet, take an inhale to come all the way back up. Reach the hands up to the top. And exhale to bring the hands into the heart space. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, look over to the left. And again, it's either the elbow to the outside or the hand. You probably want to turn onto the toes of the right foot rather than keeping the foot down. It will just make it a little bit more accessible. But remember, the thigh, the knee, is pressing into the hand or the elbow as much as the hand or the elbow is pressing into the knee. Take your time. Deep breaths, and really allow that exhale to open the body to take you into that twist. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, release the hands down. And if you feel you want one more vinyasa, you can take that or just simply go back to your child's pose. Breathing there. Lovely. And then when you're ready to just pause in your child's pose, taking a few breaths there. Maybe the hands are beside the body so that you release the shoulders. Maybe you keep the hands reaching forward just for a few breaths. So one of the practices we can do is really focusing on the well of compassion and love that we have within by focusing on a person that we love in our life, or maybe a pet or an object that we really care deeply about. And that can help us to really cultivate that sense of love and compassion and really feel how it feels in our body. So you might already have something in mind there that you can really draw in and really feel. And just notice what happens in your body when you consider this person or pet or even object. And really what we want to be able to do is then offer that same feeling towards ourselves. So when you're ready, reach the hands forward. Come back to your tabletop and release the legs round. So we're going to go into our deer legs and then some side stretches. So have the right lower leg across the top of the mat, if you can see that, and then the knee somewhere into the sole of the foot. So then bringing that right hand out to the side. Take an inhale, reach the left hand up. And then as you exhale, begin to fold over to that side. But just notice if that hip tends to raise up, that left hip. So draw it back down into the earth. The palm can face down, but have a little bit of space between shoulder and head. And you might find you can bend into that right elbow a little bit more. Really feeling that you're side stretching each time you inhale, reaching through the fingertips. And each time you exhale, there's a little bit of softness. And then inhale to come back up to the top. Exhale over to the other side. Again, same thing there. That hip might have a tendency to raise. Palm facing down at the top, bending into the elbow on the left. And you might feel you can reach through the fingers so that that top arm becomes straight. But if it's better bent a little bit softer, then be with that. And even feel that you've got a little bit of a lift through the upper chest. You're almost lifting the heart a little. And then inhale back to the center. And then we'll bring that left leg over the right, if that's comfortable. So this kind of twist here. If that right leg doesn't feel right, bring that out long and do your twist this way instead. Otherwise, the right heel is up towards the left hip, sit bones are planted down. Draw that knee into the chest, in towards the right shoulder, and then inhale, reach the left hand up, exhale to bring it behind. You can stay there, just giving that knee a good hug in towards the chest, or you can inhale, reach the right hand up, and then exhale the elbow to the outside of the leg, and find your twist that way. Should just do the one that makes most sense. You're not trying to force your body into any particular shape. Really feeling into that. Feel that twist happening in the spine. Easing off any tension. And again, just as you move into that, feel that the heart lifts. It's like ever so slightly. It's like an energetic lift more than anything else. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, release the hands back over to the other side, over to that right side. And then release the legs, your dear legs on the other side. So left lower leg somewhere across the top of the mat, knee into the sole of the foot, somewhere there. See how that feels. And then the left hand out to the side. Inhale to reach, and then exhale to fold over. So palm facing down again at the top. See if you can draw the shoulder blade down the back. Lift the heart, opening up through the side. And if you can, that hip kind of drawing down. This right hip is probably lifting a little bit more on that side, but that's okay. Just kind of energetically draw it down into the earth. Breathing there and breathing into the side ribs. And then inhale, come all the way back, and exhale over to the other side. And the idea then, when we've considered a person close to us, that we can easily cultivate those feelings of love and compassion and kindness, we're more able to give it to ourselves. And then more able to offer it out into the world as well. So really everyone we come in contact with, we would be offering that same unconditional love, unconditional kindness. Doesn't matter what they've done to us. Doesn't matter how they are. We would be looking to really invite that into every area of our life. Inhale to come back. And then bringing that left leg. Is that right? No, the other leg. Right leg over the top. And then finding that on that side, or lengthening that left leg if you know that that twist is better for you. So it's the other side, whichever side you haven't done. Drawing the knee in. Inhale, lift right hand. Exhale to bring it behind. Inhale, left leg, left hand lifts, and then exhale over. Or equally, just hug the knee in. And inch your way into that with the breath. So you're inhaling long through the spine. Belly draws in as you exhale. And just little by little going into that. And the same thing again, just feel into the heart space. Feel that it could lift a little. Nice deep breaths. Take another inhale. And exhale, release. Release the hands over to the left side, just kind of unraveling that twist. And then release the hands. And then we'll roll down onto our backs. Hug the knees into the chest. Have a little rock side to side. And then reach in between the hands to take hold of the ankles and lengthen the back of the body. And see if the shoulders can even draw down into the back, draw down into the earth. And if you feel you could go deeper without reaching the shoulders or the lower back up, you could bring the soles of the feet into the air for your happy baby there. And you might rock side to side, or you might just stay still. Sometimes it's better staying still in this one. So feel into which is right. And then take another inhale. And then as you exhale, release the feet down onto the mat. Bend the knees. Have the feet so that they're hip distance, so in line with the hips. And as we inhale, we'll press into the feet, lift the hips and lift the hands. So pressing in, nice big lift, so the hands come up to the top. And as you exhale, bring the hands behind, but keep the hips lifted. And you might even feel that you can bring the hands behind down onto the mat, and then lift the hips a little bit higher by pressing into the feet. Draw the knees towards one another, so you're really engaging the thighs. And then as you inhale, lift the hands back up to the sky. And then as you exhale, bring the hands and the hips back down. So we'll do that a couple of times. So you're inhaling, press into the feet, lift the hips, lift the hands. Keep the hips lifted, exhale the hands behind the head. Inhale, lift the hips, engage the thighs, draw the knees towards one another, press into the feet, a little bit more weight might be able to go into the shoulders. Keep the hips lifted, take an inhale, bring the hands back up to the sky. And then as you exhale, bring everything back down again. So we'll do one more of those. Inhale, pressing in, lift the hands. Stay lifted through the hips as the hands come behind. Inhale, lift again, press into the feet. Feel the belly lift, the hips. Draw the knees towards one another. Inhale to lift the hands. So it's only the hands, the arms that move. And then as you exhale, everything comes back down. Bring the feet a bit wider than the hips and rock the knees side to side. And then pausing in the center, draw the knees into the chest. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze yourself in, almost like you're giving yourself a really big hug. You might even lift the head off the mat, squeezing in, hugging yourself there, loving yourself for all that you are, with all the imperfections, all the things that we think we need to change about ourselves, loving those bits as well. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, release. And move into a Shavasana that would make sense for you. You might just stay with the knees bent, you might lengthen the legs. Soften into the shoulders, the back of the body resting. The arms maybe on the body, maybe on the heart, or maybe just away from the body, whatever feels most comfortable. And just really noticing any sensations in the body. Noticing the effect of your practice. And noticing any feelings, any emotions. Maybe related to this or anything else. Maybe sensing and feeling how the heart is. Just breathing into these sensations for a few moments. And allowing your breath to maybe move the essence of these sensations around your body. Whatever might be there, can you draw it down into the belly, into the pelvis, down through the legs, into the feet. Perhaps drawing it up into the shoulders, down through the arms, the hands, and into the head, into the face. So feeling this spread across the body. Feeling it kind of seep into your entire being. And then take another long deep breath in. And as you exhale, wiggling fingers and toes, drawing knees back in. And you might roll to one side to come all the way back up, or you might roll on the length of the spine just to come to sit for a moment. And as you do, bring the palms together and rub them together. So just creating a bit of heat there, a bit of warmth in the palms. And then bringing the hands over the eyes, the palms of the hands over the eyes, feeling that warmth, feeling that connection. And then rubbing the hands together again. And then bringing the hands over the heart. And just pausing there, feeling that warmth, feeling that sensation. Holding your heart in the palm of your hands. And maybe vowing to take care of it. And letting it know that you are there for it. Our heart is very wise. We don't always listen. It's often the head that takes over. And then bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra, into prayer. And just be reminded of your intention for you, for this week, for today. Calling it back in. Or just feeling it and sensing it. And then closing with one Om. Take a deep breath in. Om. So thank you for your practice. Namaste.